So food trucks can be amazing, right?
Oh yeah, you know what, we're just gonna do this. We're gonna flat out, we're gonna do this. This has
Yeah.
been, we didn't do a show yesterday, even though we meant to do a show. We drove for an hour and a half to do a non-show.
Yeah.
It was raining, and I guess we could have brought a tent. I was trying to figure out, like, what can we learn from this?
Well, that's the real topic for today is that, we had an experience. We had an experience that we talk about on the show all the time, right?
Where
So
we
that's
drove,
the real topic for today.
where we drove too. Sorry, I'm closing the door because my wife just got home. Um,
Yeah.
where we drove too far to do too little. Like, God, that
Yeah.
is the theme of doing performance art, isn't it? Driving too far to do too little.
Well, and the thing is, like, I mean, it like it was a fun opportunity. It was a good opportunity because, we've been talking for a long time about doing live stuff with Yonko, because most of it's, or all of it, has really been recording, stuff.
Mhm. Well, we've done two live shows before this show.
Mhm. And
Uh,
the main difference is those is that we had, uh well, we had control over the every single part of the situation,
yeah,
which is rare, you know. Um, but yeah, this one,
Andrew, stop for a second.
yeah.
Hi, Andrew.
Oh God, I totally forgot. I was so excited.
You're
Hi
so
Ben.
excited to talk about a show that didn't quite take. Hold for 1 second. Get your
You got
stuff
it.
ready. I'm letting the cat out.
Right.
Okay. I know most of our audience right now is fast asleep, and we've just sort of come up, and they're very excited to see. Their sleeping brains are very excited for this. Is your timer ready?
It is. My
Oh yeah.
sleeping brain is just getting ready. All right, here we go.
I know. Yeah, you had a good set last night too. Okay. Hi, Andrew. Hi, Brandon. Let's do this thing.
Let's do
So we
this.
drove food too far to do too little. Go.
Yeah. Well, and this is the kind of experience that we talk about on the show all the time, where, you just have to make the best of a situation, and you have to do what you do with it, because, like, the person, that, we connected with there, like, was super nice. The whole event was very, very cool. And, like, it was something that I was really excited to be part of, because it was something that Yanko would be perfect for,
Yeah,
and I think it's fair to say that, there's a lot of things that Yanko would not be perfect for, right?
I
So
agree. Yeah.
yeah,
I
so
mean,
it's
mhm.
exciting to find something that Yanko, actually fits in with, right?
Yeah, and it's also one of those, like, and you do. I mean, would it be perfect for it? The answer is actually, Andrew, and I'm sorry to break this to you. Conceptually, yes. In reality, kind of no, because it was an outdoor event
Well, yeah,
where people would be walking through. So we figured, and the thing is, we sat down, we had a meeting, we figured out how to do it in a way that would suffice for both of us on a artistic and,
mhm,
um, I guess, financial but artistic side. Where, like, okay, well, we'll put out the pictures for Yonko, and we'll just sort of surround you, and it will be, you'll play around the pictures while that's, and this is, and I don't feel bad saying this, not an ideal fix, but
yeah.
it was the fix we were certainly ready and willing to do.
Well, yeah, because, like, yeah, because, and again, that's, the kind of solution, that we talk about, on the show all the time, like, kind of
Mhm.
working within the parameters that we have. Yeah.
So I had some prints already printed out. So I printed out, took all these prints, got them in my little bag, and we drove, and we drove separately, and it was a long drive. Like, it was a long drive down towards the beach and beach traffic, and then about halfway there, it just rained like crazy. And I think the one contingency plan we didn't have was what to do if it rained. We had no
Yeah.
idea. Maybe we should have asked if we could quietly play inside, but we both kind of went, well, this looks like a wash.
Yeah. Well, and and yeah, it was like the one that we didn't think about was the weather, because I felt the same way. Like, when I was driving down and I started to see the sprinkles, I was like, oh shit, what's gonna happen now? And I got down there, and it was still, I drove through the rain, so when I got there, the weather was okay. And then I had literally, like, set up the equipment, and then it started raining a little more, a little more, a little more. It's like, okay, I got to put the equipment in, it's like, uh and then yeah, um I guess doing an inside maybe could have been a possibility, but there wasn't really room.
There wasn't room, and
Yeah.
like we were a little bit wallpaper, which is fine, and it's really hard to do in a small room. It's really hard to do live music as wallpaper.
Yeah.
Um, so I think it was best to kind of sort of cut our losses, realize that we wanted to talk to everyone, so we went and we talked to every single vendor,
Mhm.
we handed out our little stickers. Also, we have new stickers now.
We do.
The Universal U is
Yeah.
for how
Which
you should
I
be
think they're
enjoying
downstairs.
art is out. We'll put that, Andrew. We'll either put that in this one or the next one,
Yeah.
and that was good. That was good interaction, because
It
sometimes all
was.
you can do is you have to cut losses and interact with everyone and go, "Oh no, it's waning," and then just hand out
Yeah.
and do the thing. Also, it was interesting to find out the new stickers are interactive,
Mhm.
and the idea that the idea is, we talked about it on the podcast, you would put a dot on how you expect that you feel that you should interact with this piece of work, and it's silly. I would argue that it's a and boy, do people want to be part of this suddenly way more. Put a dot on this is all they needed for an interaction, for them to feel like they are compelled to join in the art making process.
Yeah, and it really is like it's something so simple. And I told this yesterday, but I think it's worth saying here. It's like I you handed me the stickers, and then we were kind of walking her separately, and then at some point, like, we joined up, and I saw you like introducing the stickers, and you explained the whole thing that you just did now. And like and there was like legitimately like this light, that goes off, and it goes on, in the eyes, and it was remarkable to see. It's just such a simple idea, but there's a connection there, that it's
I
just
think
a little thing.
it was interesting to learn that it's easy to like want to be an artist who takes the stage, says no words, plays the music, and leaves, or does the thing
Mhm.
and leaves. Uh, and some people are good enough to do it, and it works sometimes. But it is fascinating to learn how much people want to interact with the art. Like they want that crack really seeable to
Mhm.
be able to get into it. And I honestly didn't know that off the top of my head, of how much people want just the tiniest crack is all they
Mhm.
need, but they need to see it real clearly to be able to interact with the piece. And it will open up the piece for them, at
Mhm.
least in the moment, almost immediately. It will go from, oh, that's interesting, to, I will now interact with this. This is something I want to interact with.
Yeah, and I think that with something like this, it especially makes sense for like the kind of music and art that we do, because it's, as we talked about, and as hopefully people know, it's more experimental, and that kind of thing. And so, having a way to sort of interpret that instead of just somebody, looking or listening and saying, "Oh, that's weird,"
Hmm.
it's now they've got three things to think about that are not weird, right?
Hmm.
You've got the think, feel, listen, and it's um and and anywhere that goes, it's okay. Now there's a purpose for it. Um it's not just, oh, that's weird, and I'm probably not going to listen to it again. It's like, okay, well, I'll listen to it once, here's where it fits. I still might not listen to it again, but
But it's fascinating that giving a person, and it feels almost disrespectful to oneself, but to give a person something to tell them, hey, this is how you're supposed to interact with them, is such a powerful moment for them. That's one of the reasons I argue that I like, people are like, I don't believe in genres. I don't believe in genres. And I actually super do believe in genres,
Mhm.
because I think what they do is they say, this is what you can expect.
Mhm.
This is what you shouldn't expect. This is what this is. And if we, if you go in to see The Hangover, right,
Mhm.
and you expect a drama and
Mhm.
they're goofing around, you're going to be disappointed. And if you go in to see Manchester by the Sea and you expect a big goofy comedy, you're going to be like, why is this upsetting? And I
Mhm.
think sometimes it's good to and but you can play with those parameters,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
But you also have to set those parameters to be able to play with them. And I think one of the ways you set them is you say, this is this. So when it does something that isn't that,
Mhm.
you go, oh, that's interesting, because it is that, and it doesn't do that. Or when it does something that is inside of it, you're not mad about
Mhm.
it being the thing that you say it is,
Mhm.
if you were to see a horror movie and there were to be, and it was The Hangover, you would be mad. If you
Mhm.
went to see and I also think sometimes people like with certain genres, they'll go, oh, well, that isn't funny, or this isn't scary, or whatever. And you
Mhm.
have to go, well, you have to sort of agree before you go in. It's very easy to not be scared by a movie, or to not laugh at a movie, or laugh
Right.
at something if you choose that you don't want to. It
Mhm.
it it's that crack again of how of saying, okay, you interact with it like this, you know?
Right. Mhm.
And I think that's an important thing to do. And it's easy to forget. And while you're breathing your own air while making the art, I think it's easy to forget that like you have to figure out how you want the person to interact with it in some
Yeah.
way. Um,
Yeah.
it's such an easy thing to completely ignore, but there is, art is a dance with at least two people. You
Mhm.
need the audience for it to do something.
Yeah, and I think we, that could even be applied to some of the vendors that we saw yesterday, as well.
Mhm.
Which is kind of cool because like this idea, of interacting and how you experience it. I mean, I guess it could be applied to a lot of aspects of life, but since we were there yesterday, it's like, so there were some vendors that there's an immediate emotional response. Something is beautiful that they create or
Mhm.
whatever, and then there were some others that were more thinking, and and then some that were just sort of the tarot card stuff, and so there's different ways of sort of interacting and with all of those, but they were all very interesting to talk to and very fun to talk to, and just to get to know. So.
I always respect people who sell stuff,
Mhm.
because especially like stuff that's a little outside the norm, because on some level you can't hide behind it's my expression nonsense. You're trying to make a couple bucks,
Mhm.
and like that's an important way. That's that trying to make a couple bucks makes your whatever you're creating a lot more honest in a
Mhm.
way, because you're trying, or and also like it makes it more product, which is fascinating.
Mhm.
Um, because you're not just trying to make something from the heart, which sometimes you are, but you're also trying to like put money in your pocket.
Mhm.
And you don't you can't screw around too much when you're trying to put money in your pocket. You got to say, this is what it is, this is what I'm selling. It is the arts versus craft conversation. And when you're trying
Mhm.
to sell stuff, you should be falling more under craft more often than the wishy-washy of art.
Mhm.
And it's really nice to see people do their craft
Mhm.
in a craft fair.
Mhm.
uh
Absolutely, yeah. Um,
And you know
so
what? Food truck food is just, I feel like food truck food, the idea of it is more exciting than the execution 9 times out of 10.
well, the thing is, at this point I've had so many different kinds of food trucks, because uh, so before we press record, a lot of the places that a lot we were talking about breweries and stuff like that. So there's okay. So the one problem is, tell us the one problem that you explained.
All brewery food is identical no matter what.
Right,
You would never,
exactly.
I've never gone into a brewery, especially because I eat relatively limitedly. I
Mhm.
have never gone into a brewery and went, oh, this is different. It is always the
Yeah,
same fries and burgers that are a little too rich than they should
exactly.
be.
It is, yeah.
And like they're good. They're the idea of good. I feel like if you take tiny bites, if you were to
Mhm.
oh, I'm gonna try it, you go, oh my god, this is delicious. But by the time you're halfway through that burger, you're
Mhm.
always just like, this is too much cheese. Why do they put mozzarella and blue cheese on this burger? This is too much cheese for
Right.
this.
And so the other problem is that they don't have food, and they'll have food trucks, and so like some food trucks are amazing, and I agree with what you're saying, because like when I first started like having a lot of food truck stuff, I was like, oh my god, this one's good, this one's good, this one's good. And it's like now, a lot of them taste the same, just in the same way that a lot of breweries taste the same, or a lot of the brew food tastes the same.
Brewery food is identical. You
Yeah.
can't listen. You cannot change my mind. This
Yeah.
one, I don't care what we talked about in the beginning. It just needs to be called all brewery food is identical. Like
Okay.
identical. Same. It's the same food every
Mhm.
single time, over and over again. And if you don't think about it too much, its savory, salty, sugariness will be good. But once you start doing it, once you have to like do breweries on the regular,
Hmm.
and then you have to you work breweries because you're singing in them or you're making art in them or whatever. You start eating it on the regular, you go, I don't. This is not. I need nuance. There's nothing
Yeah,
nuanced in this.
exactly.
Uh, and I think all food truck food is it's not identical. There is variation in food truck
Yeah.
food, but there's so much that is just brewery food. That
Mhm.
is there's so much, and maybe brewery food is a genre that I need to respect,
Hey, there you
and
go.
I need
There
to
you go.
know what brewery food needs to be for it to be good, which is overly like it is by definition like very very rich. It's birthday food. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Birthday food, yeah.
Yeah, brewery food is birthday food. It's fun on a birthday, but
Mhm.
on a random Wednesday, you're gonna hate yourself for it. You're gonna hate it while you eat it. You're gonna
Yeah.
hate it while you're there,
Mhm.
and like it pairs well with something like an overly rich IPA, and
Mhm.
that's your brewery food right there. Is
Yeah.
an overly rich IPA with an overly rich burger and overly salty uh French fries.
Well,
Good on your
I
birthday.
guess that's the key. Maybe you hit on something with the genre thing because there's definitely I would say you know what? I would say breweries just in general is probably a genre, right? Because you've got the brewery and you separate breweries. Breweries are not bars, they're not traditional bars. And there's definitely a different vibe that goes on. So I would definitely say that's like a genre. And so within that genre, you've got the food, you've got the drink, within that genre. So
I think that's a really smart thing, and I think it's
yeah.
smart that you should separate brewery, bar, and restaurant as
Yes,
three different divisions of
absolutely.
places that you could drink alcohol in.
Mhm.
And also once you know that brewery is
Mhm.
a genre of
Mhm.
of eatery, uh, you will only see it. Just so you know,
Yeah.
from here on out, now that you know what you will only see, Chive TV is going to be on. Uh,
Yes.
every single time
Yes.
Chive TV is going to be on.
Yeah.
There's going to be like stickers that are like sassy. There's
Yeah.
going to be a weird infatuation with the 1980s in sticker form. All the line work's going to be like weirdly thick for some reason.
Uh-huh.
You see it now. You're never going to be able to unsee it. Every brewery you're going to walk into, there's going to be rustic wood, right? There's going to be a lot of rustic wood on things.
Yeah.
And then the wood, the bar is going to be overly polished and like the
Mhm.
enamel is going to be really thick for some reason. Yeah. Now you see it and you're never going to be able to unsee it.
Exactly. And just in case people think we're being like elitist or something, you're talking to at least, one person who goes to a lot of breweries,
I,
How
how
about
do you
you?
think I got this information, Andrew? How do you think I got how many breweries do you have to go to before you start going,
Exactly, yeah. So
am I
so
in the
we're
same place?
yeah, we're two people who love the genre of breweries.
Yeah, no, I'm someone who's certainly dabbled in the genre of brewery. It's also one of those things, at some point you listen to like enough noise music that
Yeah.
you like put pop music on, you're like, this is great. I love this. This has like a 4/4 beat. This is spectacular. And I
Yeah.
feel like I've done enough breweries where like now I'm just like trying to do anything else. You know what I mean? Like anything else I ever go like a good vegan restaurant is a very different vibe than a
Very
brewery,
different vibe,
you
yeah.
know? And that's a different vibe. And also we'll talk about that later is the sometimes this is conversations about art. Sometimes it's Brandon just going, do you ever notice that different restaurants are different? The genre of restaurant you're going to.
Exactly. All right,
And it's
this is
important.
funny.
You got to stay within those genres, or then you're a cheesecake factory. Nobody likes a cheesecake factory.
Cheesecake Factory does
A
listen on
lot of
that.
no,
Go
a lot
no,
of
no,
people
listen
like
on
a
this.
cheese. No, let me say this: a lot of people like a cheesecake factory. No one loves a cheesecake.
Okay, I'll agree with that because I was gonna say I do like a Cheesecake Factory.
Yep. Now I figured it out. Everybody
Yeah.
likes a cheesecake
Okay.
factory. Nobody loves a
Okay.
cheesecake.
I'm down with that statement. All right,
Yeah,
that's good.
that's a good end. That's a good end. Now that's a good end.